Now, as buyer's agents, we have obviously chosen property as our vehicle for building wealth, but there are many ways to build wealth, and some things come in and out of fashion, right?
Sure.
Things like the stock market that, most people, they'll go for that, they'll stay there. But then you have other more temporary or more seasonal or more trendy things like crypto, or, there was a time where people in Sydney were investing in, or they still are, I guess, in parking spaces.
Yep.
So they'll separate the title from, the unit to the car space and just sell the car space individually, and then someone will just rent that out to someone that works in the city. There was a time where people were investing in shipping containers. There's been, taxi plates. There's been so many different ways over the years that people have built wealth. Why did you choose property?
Look, for me, it really, really came down to when I first started my business in the photography business in the early 20s, and I was actually leasing from, and some people may have already heard this story in the past podcasts, leasing from the landlord who also had his business in that building. For me, it was seeing this guy driving around in different Ferraris and Lamborghinis every other day.
You wanted the car. Such a
so it was
a Mansa.
It was one of those things where success to me at that time was starting through the business. Yeah. So I was, doing reasonably well. And then and it was only, 4 to 6 months within starting the business, I was like, oh, great. I'm making some money. I'm saving some money. I'm living at home. What can I do from here?
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of savings now, 6 months into it. So I reached out to, his name was Louis, and I said to him, Louis, so what do you do? How do you do things? How does success, besides, the business that you're doing? He says, look, I'm investing in property. He does, a lot of residential, a little bit of commercial, and this is how it's done. I'm like, all right, can you teach me?
Nice.
And pretty much over time.
So did you look at other investment vehicles, or did property resonate with you?
I did look in, and I tried stocks through CBA. They've got a platform where you can actually jump on, register, and have play money.
Yeah.
And then a couple of months into that, I threw actual real money into it, and I'm like, holy shit, I lost it overnight. Yeah. I wasn't willing to ride that roller coaster.
Too
risky. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
With property, I can look at something. I can look at what recently sold. I know the value. Am I getting it at a discount? Can I negotiate and get a better price? There's a trend of growth throughout, the years.
Yeah.
And you can roughly predict on what can happen when you do purchase a property. And again, the leverage, knowing back then, I can borrow, I'd have to have 10% and borrow 90% of it. And then obviously the growth of that will be off, off just a small 10% of the leverage is huge. Yeah. So to me, that made sense.
Yeah. And it does make sense.
What about you, Amanda?
My story is not as illustrious as yours. For me, it was actually my parents. They had a rule that us kids were not allowed to travel until we'd purchased a property. They didn't want us spending our deposits on plane tickets and mucking around in our 20s. Once we purchased, all bets were off. We could do what we wanted, but we had to purchase first. So my first, I always joke, was under duress. I did it because I had to, and I learned on the job, and then I became more interested. Up until then, I was interested in property and all of that and investing, but it just wasn't front of mind for me.
Yep.
At 21, I didn't have that as a main priority. Now that I'm significantly older, and have more responsibilities and are more forward thinking, yes, property is still my chosen investment vehicle, and it is my passion and I love it. But I've married someone also into property, but he invests through business. He's a very astute businessman. So he has sold a business. He's built businesses from the ground up. He's involved in all that. That's way beyond my capacity. Mm-hmm. I say he's a shameless networker. I'm not. So for the two of us, where has our wealth come from? Both, definitely. I do think property investment in one generation can do very well, but I think it also takes a couple of generations to hit the same level of wealth as you can in business.
Mm-hmm.
But in business, you have to be a certain kind of person, which I am not. So if you're asking me what can work for anyone, because it is so methodical and so black and white and so replicable, the best models are always replicable.
Yep.
That's property.
Yep.
But if I was more like my husband, the sky's the limit in business. But you can't sell that. You can't sell competence. And the only thing that it's like the stock market. You can say that, here's a CommSec account or a NabTrade account, off you go. But if people aren't competent like you did, they'll lose their money.
Yeah.
Whereas property, you can be the dimmest person in the room. You can be.
But it's true, and I know of you.
Absolutely. And you know what? And anyone can be wealthy from property if they follow the formula.
Yeah.
It's literally colour by numbers.
Yeah.
And this is why, we always bang on about when people purchase from buyer's agents that don't colour by numbers. They do weird things and sell weird, It's not that hard. You don't need to repaint. What's the thing? Reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
that's right. I don't know why I'm painting it.
Yeah.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So, my chosen investments, my kids, I'm going to push into property because it's idiot proof.
Yeah.
No matter how dumb my kids are, they'll manage that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's absolutely idiot proof. Unless we have some catastrophic event, and we all know the government won't permit that.
Yeah.
It's colour by numbers.
That's it.
Property's the way to go.
Amazing. Thank you, Amanda.
No worries.
Awesome.
If people want to learn how to paint by numbers, what should they do?
Reach out to us on, I forgot it, propertysessions.com.au/15, and that's the number 15. Or we'll throw a link below with this.
It's like having to know your own phone number. You don't know your own.
No, sometimes you got to think back. Oh, hang on. Yeah,
let me look up my own number.
That's right.
All right. If you want to reach out, we'll hear from you soon.